Listening to a Weeby Geeks Network podcast.
The Dining at Disney podcast. The Dining at Disney podcast.
You know the thing about good food? It brings folks together from all walks of life.
Your ultimate source for the wonderful world of dining at the Disneyland and Walt Disney World Resort.
If you are what you eat, then I only want to eat the good stuff.
Kristen and Bubba are your guides on this culinary adventure.
People are going to line up for miles around just to get a taste of my food.
Our food.
Join them as they discuss the latest food news, expert tips, recommendations, and trip planning advice as it relates to Disney dining.
Try the gray stuff. It's delicious. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes.
From quick service to fine dining, you'll discover all the best restaurants and food as you hungrily explore the Disney parks.
Let's do this thing!
The Dining at Disney podcast. And now your hosts, Kristen and Bubba.
Welcome to another episode of the Dining at Disney podcast. It's your ultimate source for delicious discussion about dining at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. I'm your host, Kristen. With me is Bubba. You guys need to welcome Bubba. He is my new co-host. Jay has decided to go back to school and he's got some other things going on. So we do wish Jay the best of luck. But Bubba.
Yes, we do.
Now, Bubba knows a good bit about Disney, and we'll get into that right before we go into the news discussion, so you guys can get to know Bubba a little bit. But today, what we're going to be talking about, in addition to news, is some of the best and worst food news stories that came out of 2015, and then what we're looking forward to in 2016. Before we get into that, we want to thank you so much for downloading the show on iTunes, streaming on Stitcher, as well as watching this webcast on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe to our feeds, and don't forget to share with your friends. Okay, Bubba, so let's talk a little bit about you so people can kind of get to know you a little bit. So let's start with, when was your first trip to Disney?
Ooh, I was 5 years old. I couldn't remember a thing. My parents tell me all the time that, oh, we took you when you were 5, but I don't remember a single thing. And we took a huge gap. I didn't go back for 10 years, maybe till I was 15. And then finally I went when I was 15. Loved it to death with my family. We all went. It was a great time. Then in 2000, I had this great opportunity to join the Disney Summer College program, which I fully accepted, and that was one of the greatest summers of my life working at Disneyland. I got to be construction security for Disneyland or Disney California while it was under construction. So I got to see everything before it opened. People were dying to know what was inside. I got to get a firsthand look at everything. I got to meet Michael Eisner and Paul Pressler when they would come in and look at the park every 2-3 weeks. They would come in and, do their inspection like any Disney CEO would do. And I got to see the very first viewing of Muppet Vision when they tried the projector for the first time. I got to ride California Screamin' for one of the first times. Got to meet the designer of the roller coaster.
Oh, wow. That's
so it was a
cool.
great summer. Yeah. And I did it the next summer, and I was luckily my wife was accepted the next summer. She was my girlfriend at the time, so we got to do that summer together. So we are former cast members, and since then we've been pass holders since. We moved to Anaheim in 2009 and became premium pass holders. Went to the park once, twice a week. We were just 7 miles from there. We recently moved back to Bakersfield in It's about 2.5 hours north of Disneyland, but we still try to go every now and then. We just came back this weekend because everything was closing, and we had to do it one more time before Star Wars Land started getting under construction. And of course, meeting you guys was one of the great things too about Disney. We got to meet you guys 2008 or no 2009 or 10 for D23
4.5 years ago.
Yeah. So we got to meet you guys and had our little lunch over at the Cove Bar, watch World of Color, and we've been friends since.
That's true. A good friend since then, too.
So, great friends, yes. And, every D23, hopefully we can, if Aljon, he'll be down in 2 weeks. I'm hoping maybe to go down for a day, even if he can't go, just to say hi to him. But yeah, Disney obsessed. Me and my wife are so.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That's why we do.
Nothing wrong at all.
We do these.
That's why we do this. Yeah.
Blogs and podcasts and radio station shows and such, all because we love it. So
yeah, we can't wait to tell you. Here's what they got in store for you guys coming up. So, sometimes we'll have disappointing news. Like I know today we're going to talk about a lot of disappointing stuff that's closing, but the future is going to be bright.
And let's discuss some of your Disney favorites then. So,
okay.
Favorite park.
Well, I've never been to Disney World yet. My wife Taylor has been to Disney World, loves it to death. She said your Tower of Terror over at Disney World just destroys ours in Disney, California.
It's pretty cool.
Even though I like that. So Disney Park, I mean, you can't beat the original Disneyland. You can't. It's Walt's Park. I've sat where he sat. I've went through his apartment that he was in. Ceiling's like this high to you.
Oh, really?
And yes, it's just above the firehouse station over at City Hall on Main Street. And yeah, the ceilings, I mean, he was a tall guy. Disney was a very tall guy. And so the ceiling would probably be up to here to him. And, it was a small place, but it was somewhere he could rest, lounge around, sleep. I mean, Disneyland is by far, yeah. He has his little grilled cheese maker too. The original grilled cheese maker that he used is still in there because that was one of his favorite sandwiches, and he just cook it up like that.
Wow.
But Disneyland, you can't. There's just so much history and definitely so many memories for me at Disneyland. Just being there, we could just sit for hours and people watch. Disney California, it gets hectic sometimes. You got a lot of the teenagers and older people there. But when you're sitting on Main Street watching the families go by as people watch, it's great. Seeing how many people love Disneyland, and that's why I love going to Disneyland because I get to be one of those people that have a smile on my face walking down Main Street.
I'll tell you, one of the coolest things was when I was there and saw Oscar. I thought
Chef Oscar, yes.
Yes. I was like, that is so cool, to think that this man still works, and he worked for Walt Disney. I mean,
he worked for Walt Disney.
That is a long time to be with one company. And the fact that he's still
if you go
working.
If you go to Carnation Cafe, he's usually there during breakfast. They have the Oscar special, which is the best breakfast in Disneyland. It's just your basic eggs, potatoes, bacon, sausage, biscuit, fruit. And he will come and sit down and talk to you. I've had many times where I just went by myself, sat down and ate. And he would come walk around. He would sit down and we would just talk. We would just talk about what's going on in the park, what's going on in the world. And he's a great guy to talk to. He'll definitely shake your hand, take a picture with you. And if you want to know any history, he'll definitely talk to you about it.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Speaking of food,
yes.
What is your favorite quick service, counter service? And then what is your favorite table service?
All right. Well, I'm going to have to go with Plaza Inn. You can't beat the chicken dinner with quick service wise. You can't beat it. The setting, Plaza Inn's one of the staples of Main Street right there. They have the character breakfast in the morning, but then lunch and dinner, you get your choices of certain dishes. The fried chicken I highly recommend to anyone. Comes with 3 pieces of fried chicken, mashed potatoes, vegetables, and a biscuit. But I move the vegetables out of the way and I get double potatoes. That's a good tip for you right there. Yeah. And there's free refills there too. That's another thing that, you guys have your refillable cups over at Disney World. There's no refillable cups at Disneyland whatsoever. So when it's a quick service place, it's not table side, but they do have free refills there, which is one of the perks of eating there. As for dining, I mean, you cannot go wrong with Blue Bayou. The setting, the food, the ambiance of it all, watching everybody go by while they're on Pirates of the Caribbean waving at you. And yeah, and the filet mignon and lobster dinner, I always get that. Pricey, but definitely worth it. Always one of the best restaurants to go to, which I highly recommend. Reservations, highly recommend. I've seen so many people turned away. It's just nuts. So make sure you make reservations for Blue Bayou if you ever go to Disneyland.
I'm going to have to try it again because we did not have a good experience there.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, I mean, our experience was, food-wise, it was one of the worst I've had at Disney.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the food came out cold and dry, like it had been made a few hours earlier. And then when I said, well, the food's cold, they put it in a microwave.
That's not the Disney way right there.
Oh, the gumbo was excellent.
Oh, the gumbo was
great. The jambalaya that I had, I was like, no.
If you want,
but I do need to try it again.
Yeah. If you want good jambalaya, try to go to, what is it, not Cafe Orleans, the market, the French market. They have jambalaya and red beans and rice. Yes, that's one of the best places to go to. And that's a quick service. That's usually one of our go-to spots to hang out, watch the jazz band come in from time to time. And so get that. But if you want a really good one too, we haven't eaten there in a while, Carthay Circle. It's we've had it maybe twice, but every single time has been amazing. It is pricey, of course, but like I said, if you want to pay for a great Disney experience, you also get a free tour if you go dine in over there at Carthay Circle. We and you took the tour, remember?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They were nice enough to, even though we weren't dining, to give me a tour.
Oh yeah, we didn't dine in.
And remember that my camera died.
Your battery died. Yeah.
Oh, it was awful.
So
still,
those are my go-to.
Next time I'm gonna dine there. I haven't done it yet, but I've gone in for drinks, gone into the lounge and had drinks, but I haven't gone up and had a full meal.
Oh, we recorded a show there. Yeah. We recorded a show there. That's right, for Tiki Room.
Yeah, because we also had Daniel from Diz Geek Podcast. He was on too.
Yes, he was with us too. That was fun. That was a fun night.
Yeah, it was. So let's see. Favorite attraction?
As of right now, Hyperspace Mountain is amazing. Wow. The Star Wars theme is just blowing my mind. If you guys get a chance to go to Disneyland to ride Hyperspace Mountain, it's a long wait, but it's worth it. Do single rider, get a fast pass. Just definitely one of the best attractions. But, you know, like that's only for we don't know how long all this Star Wars stuff is going on in Tomorrowland. So there's no end date. But if I had to choose my top attraction, I'm going to have to go with Radiator Springs Racers. It tops everything. Even though it's one of the newer attractions, it's still an amazing ride. You have everything. You got your whole tour. Yeah, the theme to it
is amazing.
Yeah, you're just driving through Radiator Springs, through the whole town. You drive through the whole town, and then you get to race afterwards. That's awesome. That's amazing, yeah. So definitely my top attraction is Radiator Springs Racers.
And I'm sure one of your favorite times of riding it was when we
I remember.
Kevin
I remember.
Just thank you. Do you know what?
Kevin
I was actually watching People's Choice. I never watched his award shows, but I watched it, and they showed him on it, and I was like, I think it's like, I need to message Bubba. I need to go be like, hey, I just saw our Radiator Springs buddy.
I was in shock. You guys I didn't even know he was next to me. I think it was one of somebody that was with them, and then he was on the other end of the car. And then you guys were telling me, I think that was somebody famous, and I'm looking at him, I'm like,
well, we knew it was somebody famous. We just couldn't think of his name.
Oh, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, that's Kevin Pollak. Oh my gosh, I'm right next to him the whole time.
Well,
you guys were scared. You guys were scared to approach him. I approached him afterwards and was like, we just rode the car together. I just want to say you're an awesome guy. You're an awesome comedian and everything. So, you know, I usually do that when I see celebrities. But you guys freaked out. So did I.
Well, what was so funny is I was sitting between, Taylor and Michelle, and I turned to Taylor and I said, the guy behind you he looks like somebody famous. And she goes, it's because he is somebody famous. Oh, okay. That makes sense then. I was like, trying to place where I recognized him from. Then at that point,
as soon as I saw him, you guys pointed him out. What's funny is that I'm talking to the person that was with them the whole time during the attraction, like, oh, have you been on this before? She's like, yeah, we've been on it. What's your favorite part? And I'm talking to him, and I'm looking him right in the eye. Still don't even notice who he is. Just talking to him, just how I talk to everybody else. And you guys just freaked me out when like, that's somebody famous. And yeah, my eyes lit up. Kevin Pollak, you're amazing. But you know me, when I see celebrities, I freak out.
Yeah, it's so funny to me because living in Nashville, I see people all the time that it's you, and it's there's like an understood rule that you don't approach and bother celebrities, and so that's why like Johnny Depp has a house here, and it's because he can come and be a normal person and go walk the mall without needing bodyguards and security for people to harass him. It's just a understood rule. You don't bother them. People might say hi to him and be like, oh, hi. And just because, they recognize him, but that's really the extent of it.
If I do see somebody in the park that's a celebrity, I'll just say hi to them. I won't ask for a picture or anything, just shake their hand, tell them how awesome they are. I've met a lot of celebrities too at the park, even as a cast member. That was one of the rules. Do not approach any celebrity type, you will be fired. But, that they would always come to us, which was great as cast members. I got to meet Hugh Hefner like that. He came to me and shook my hand. Still haven't washed it. No, I'm just kidding. That was years ago. Wow.
Yeah, I never knew before that the plaids, that they would have plaids with them. And so now anytime I see them, I'm like, is that somebody?
Oh, every time. Every time we're just like, okay, who's that? I don't know. Let's Google, see who he is right there. Because we saw somebody yesterday in the park that wasn't with the plaid, but we knew he was a celebrity. Come to find out, he was on like Two Broke Girls and a couple other shows, and he had a picture of his annual pass that he was at the park yesterday. I'm like, man, we should have said hi to him. Yeah.
Now, if I win the $1.4 billion,
$4 billion.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna have a plaid walk me through the parks. I'm gonna buy some Disney stock. Yes, I want to bypass all the lines too. Just once. Oh, yeah. I would love to do it just like once. Other than that, nah.
I'll spend a good 2 weeks at Disney World if I win that. First 2 weeks at the VIP, whatever villa or suite I could get. Oh no, that definitely a 2-week trip.
Oh, you want concierge club level? Concierge. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, that's it right there, and a plaid, of course, to get on everything.
And Alton and I'll tag along.
Oh, you guys will stay in the same another suite right next to us. Right next to us.
We could do one of those huge ones where they have like the multiple rooms that connect together.
I'll rent the floor. I'll rent the whole floor. And we'll just have a big party with everybody.
We could do that over at Four Seasons. I don't remember how much Tony's. Yeah, it's Four Seasons. It's not owned by Disney, but it's on Disney property. It's where Golden Oaks, right. Where the where people can live on Disney property. That little residence.
I've seen you guys drive through there.
Four Seasons has a whole entire floor that you can rent out.
Oh, there it is right there. Bucket list number one. Be that way.
I was like, oh, I want to do that.
And we'll just take a party bus to the park. And yeah, that would be great. But that's wishful thinking.
You never know. Somebody's got to win it eventually.
Well, you know what? I'll actually stay in the Dream Suite. I want to stay in the Dream Suite. That's the one place I want to stay in. Disneyland Dream Suite. At least a night. At least one night. That's probably the only place I've never been to.
Disneyland? One night Disney World?
Oh, yeah. We could do that. Somebody actually did that for the 24-hour day. They went to Disney World, started their 24-hour day there, flew to California, and finished the 24-hour day there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's money right there.
Uh-huh.
Wish I could do that.
I
wish I could
need
do that.
Right. Okay, so everybody's got a little information on who you are and things you like. So let's go ahead and go into our appetizers. Now, you've got one news story for us, right, Bub?
I believe it's, are we talking about the Thunder Ranch or the tea party over at Steakhouse?
Steakhouse. Let's start
Steakhouse.
there.
Well, if you read online, they will be starting a type of a tea party, I believe. I don't know. I've never really been to a real tea party. I've been to Mad Tea Party a couple times, but it's totally different. It's probably totally different than this tea party.
Uh-huh.
But this starts January 22nd at Steakhouse 55 at the Disneyland Hotel. And, you know, if you're one with if you have children, you know, a lot of the girls love tea parties. They love being princesses. They love having tea. This is a good way to go and relax with the family. You know, just indulge a little bit on some tea, some great food, appetizers, lots of desserts. The pictures that Disney posted look amazing, by the way. Wow, those chocolate covered strawberries, that whole plate of them. We'll definitely, I'm sure you're going to post a link to it. You know.
Yeah. In the show notes, we'll have all of the links for all of the different things that we discussed. So that way people can easily read more into it and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, so it's I believe it's it's $50 for the classic tea party, $65 if you want the premium tea party, and then for kids it's $35. You can have a gluten-free, you can have vegan options, you know, something for everybody. But you know, this is something that the ladies, I'm sure the girls and the ladies will love. I'm not a big fan of tea. Like I said, I've never been to a tea party. I know my wife has, and she loves them. I should. Oh, good Lord.
Aljon and I did a tea party.
Do you have to sit at the little tables and drink the little, you know, cups of tea? Like that. Every time I think
about cups of tea, not like little baby cups of tea, but you like a normal teacup in a restaurant is what you're gonna get. But we did over at Waldorf. We did it at Waldorf Astoria, and they bring out your little tea sandwiches and tea. And then we added on a glass of champagne. It was like $5 for a glass of champagne.
Okay.
And then your desserts. And it was a lot of fun. I think we were there for about 2 hours or so. Just laid back. You know, you just kind of sit there, relax, and enjoy the company of the people you're with. Yeah,
I'm sure. You know, I'm sure it's a blast. You know, like I said, I will try it. If my wife dragged me to one, I would definitely do it. You know, you got one. I'm sure. Yeah, this one does serve wine, so you know I'm going to enjoy it a lot. So you know, have your glass of wine, which is not included in the price. That's if you want to buy per glass tea parties. But it starts January 22nd at the Disneyland Hotel, Steakhouse 55. They're hosting it from noon to 3 p.m. So you want to make sure you call and definitely get a reservation for that. I believe 60 days is the maximum you can do. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, so 60 days before your trip is when you can start planning on going for that. And yeah, like I said, you'll have the number posted. Call the Disneyland hotline to get your reservation going.
I wish Disney World had a 60-day or a 90-day window instead of 180.
Oh, wow.
180 is so long.
That is very long. Are reservations very hard to come by at Disney World?
Some of them can be. The really popular places, if you don't have a reservation, you're not getting in. Like Be Our Guest over at Magic Kingdom.
Oh, I bet, yes.
And it's awful for people who are, you know, go frequently or are annual pass holders that are local that go all the time, because you have to plan 6 months in advance that you're going to want to eat this day there. And Aljon and I take more often than not plan our trips more last minute.
More last minute.
Yeah, instead of planning it so many months out, I mean, it's probably been a couple of years since I've booked something 6 months out.
Oh.
So, which I might have to do this year.
We know now to do it at Disneyland. Just for whatever we do, if we want either Carnation Cafe or Blue Bayou. Blue Bayou is something you definitely have to do it. But, a lot of people think Carnation Cafe, you can just walk up and do it. No, when we went a couple months ago, they had no walk-ups whatsoever. It was reservation only. The host had a sigh of relief. She's like, do you have a reservation? And we're like, yes, we do. Oh, thank God. I'm tired of turning people away. And this was like at 1 p.m. And I'm like, are you guys booked all day? She's like, basically, yes, we're booked all day. I'm like, wow. So my wife knows now better to make reservations. And 24-hour days, she was our savior. Everything was booked full, an hour or two line just for food. But she made reservations to Carnation Cafe in the morning and Big Thunder Ranch at night. And that was the best thing ever, 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 ever.
2 great places to eat too.
Yes. One former great place to eat, by the way.
Okay, so let's get into. Well, let's hold on to that till we get into the entree of the show. So I'll go into the Walt Disney World news, and I've just got a few topics. One of them is that the mini silver screen dine over at Hollywood and Vine and Disney's Hollywood Studios is now taking place. It's going to be going on now through March 20th. And because it is award season, that's kind of what this is all about. Minnie throwing a huge party. So you're going to have some of your favorite characters like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy and Goofy all dressed up in the glitz and glamour that is Hollywood. And it's a buffet. So there's going to be soups, appetizers, entrees. Everything's going to be themed, desserts as well. Tables in Wonderland discount will be accepted. And I do have the other types that they're going to be doing this year. But later in the year now, Hollywood and Vine is going to be doing some seasonal menus like this one. There's 4 other times during the year that they're going to be doing spring, summer, Halloween, and then during the holidays, which I've got all those dates and information on the site that you can check out, which, of course, like I said before, we will have the links to this information in our show notes. Another story is that Garden Grocer, which is over, is a delivery service that you can get, grocery delivery service in the Orlando area. Well,
nice.
There is a lot of construction going on and traffic on I-4, some international drive projects as well. But because of this, they have cut down on what resorts they're going to be delivering to. I've got a whole list of them. Most of them are going to be your Disney World resorts that are going to be on there, as well as some of the downtown Disney ones. Like Wyndham Bonnet Creek is still on there. So you'll have to check that list out if you're looking to do that. And those changes just took place. Oh, gosh. What's today? Today's the 12th. Yeah, 2 days ago on Sunday. So this is new, and it's going to continue throughout 2016 just because of so much construction and it making it difficult for them to deliver groceries.
Wow.
One of the things everybody's been wanting to know about has been restaurants on the 2016 Disney dining plan. And when I wrote the original post in 2015, when they released things, there are many restaurants that are not owned and operated by Disney. And so they wait to the last minute to sign, whether it be at the end of December or the beginning of January. And Disney just updated this past weekend with the restaurants that were missing that a lot of people were concerned about. So the restaurants over at Coronado Springs are now included. The Epcot restaurants like La Cantina de San Angel, what else? Restaurant Marrakesh, those type restaurants that were owned by somebody else are now included. Disney Springs hardly had anything listed. And now you've got Bongo's Cuban Cafe, Wolfgang Puck, The Smokehouse, Starbucks, Morimoto Asia, Raglan Road, tons of those restaurants included. Again, there will be a link to the show notes so you can see all of them that have been added. And I will say that they did add the new Jungle Navigation Company Limited Skipper Canteen has been added to that list. And then my last bit of information before we get into our big discussion is that it was announced today that you can get your 7th annual Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Food and Wine Classic tickets. It is now available this year, taking place October 28th and 29th. There are Causeway tickets available for both Friday and Saturday. If you purchase a Causeway ticket, you can also purchase one of the seminar tickets, which I have to say are excellent. And let's see, one of my favorites, let me find some of my favorites that I've done. The Beer Please demonstration, if you like beer, is absolutely fantastic. They also have one that's called Mixology, and that one, Lindsay Skillman is awesome. She teaches that. She is heads up one of the beverage departments. So, yeah, she has some really cool, fun stuff she does with hers.
Wow,
so,
that sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, considering the fact that it's all you want to eat, all you want to drink, it's really nice and easy. It ends up, if you, based on how much you can eat, you really get your money's worth. So like this year, the Causeway event is $98.85, and it's with the service fees that Brown Paper Tickets adds into their tickets when they sell them, when companies sell them on there. But it's, you know.
But that includes everything?
It includes everything.
Oh, then, yeah.
Everything except for the beer garden. That one's an optional one, which is a whole nother section. They just started, this will be the 3rd year that they're doing the beer garden there. And it's, Aljon and I are like, we enjoy doing that. We'll do that before we do one of the extra paid for things over at Epcot's Food and Wine, because it has all the restaurants, like Chef Todd English. He's there every year for it.
Yeah.
Represented, because he's got a restaurant. He shows up for the whole weekend for that. But food, wine, you know, get a piece of Shula steak and you go, this isn't for me. I don't like it. You could throw it away and think nothing of it because you didn't just pay $8 for it. You know, it was included in the cost of your ticket. But you will leave very, very full and happy when you're done. It's
money well spent.
We've done it 3 years in a row and plan our trips around this event because it's just that much fun. And again, that is the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Food and Wine Classic. I'll be writing that information up on the website in the next day or so. Like I said, that news just came in. So that's everything for our appetizer. Now on to the entree, the best and the worst of 2015, and then what we're looking forward to this year. So, Bubba, I know you have some very sad food news for us.
My favorite restaurant just closed Sunday. It's not 2015, but still beginning of the year. Big Thunder Ranch had its final finale Sunday. If you don't know what it is an all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet. Kristen's had it, Aljon's had it, and it's amazing. You get a live country show from, to a violinist and a guitarist. They come around and sing at your table. They bring everything in bowls and buckets. You have your beans, coleslaw, cornbread, corn on the cob, and then they bring you a bucket of chicken, ribs, and if you go during dinner, they have the sausage. So we always went during dinner, and it was a staple at Disneyland. It was always booked. You couldn't walk in. You always had to get a reservation. And luckily our friends got reservations for the very last day, which was Sunday, and they invited us, and we just had a blast. We did not. They were backed up big time, of course. It was the whole place around Thunder Ranch was packed because they're closing the restaurant, they're closing the petting zoo, they're closing the banquet area. That's going to be most likely the entrance for Star Wars Land, which they started doing construction on yesterday. So they got rid of all that, and it was very sad goodbye because when we were there, our reservation was at 6. We didn't actually get into like 6:45 because they were so far behind. All the crew member, all the cast members that work Thunder Ranch, they all came on the stage, and they were all crying. And I'm like, wow, this is very emotional for them. And I talked to one of the cast members, and they just said, well, I've been here for 4 years and 4 or 5 years, and this is like family. A lot of the people, cast members that are here, stayed in this spot, and so they're all going to be moved to different spots. They're not going to get fired or anything like that. So they're all moving to different locations. But this was one of the best places at Disneyland to eat, and it's definitely going to be missed by a lot of people, including myself.
And
it was.
For those that haven't been to Disneyland and tried this place, but you're over at have been to Walt Disney World, it's similar to Hoop-Dee-Doo, except it takes place outside like Mickey's Backyard Barbecue does. But the show, instead of having, I guess the best way to put it is kind of like a cross between that, because you do have country music on the stage. The food is just like you get, though, over at Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. So it's kind of like the atmosphere of Mickey's Backyard Barbecue, but with the food from Hoop-Dee-Doo, except instead of ribs, or did we get ribs? I don't think there is ribs, right?
Yeah, we got ribs. Yeah, you got ribs, chicken, and sausage. Yes.
The sausage was like the best thing that you don't get at Hoop-Dee-Doo. And I was like, I wish they did.
That was our little thing when we ate there, would to be take some Ziplocs, because like I said, it was all you can eat. And we would just at the end be like, can we get like a bowl of sausage? We would get it, and then we just put it in the Ziploc, and we would have something to snack on throughout the day while we're at the park. Because it was so good, the sausage was. But everything was good there. But when it came to the desserts, oh my goodness. You guys, Kristen, Michelle, and Taylor, they got this giant s'more bake. It's a giant brownie cooked at the bottom. And then on top of it is roasted marshmallows with big chunks of graham crackers on top. I believe there was like some chocolate bars maybe on top. I can't remember. But then they give you this ladle of chocolate sauce to just cover all over. And I had some of that too on Sunday, and I'm gonna miss it so much. It's just one of the best places to go to relax. What sucked is that you can't eat when it's raining. When it's raining, it's closed. So the past couple of days before in California, it's been raining, and so we were very nervous that our reservation would have been canceled on Sunday, but skies stayed clear, and we were able to eat, and it's just a blast. It's definitely going to be missed, but I know they will have a new barbecue spot over at Riverboat Terrace very soon, and that's going to keep the people that love the barbecue there kind of hold the fort down while construction is going on, because we don't know what's going to happen if there's going to be a new one when Star Wars Land opens, maybe something different or around the park, but we'll see what happens in the future. But rest in peace, Thunder Ranch. I'm going to miss that place a lot.
Yeah, as far as I can't really think of a whole lot of bad news stories from 2015. I mean, Disney World on that side had so many things open. I mean, the changeover from Downtown Disney to being Disney Springs brought a whole bunch of new restaurants. And then you had ones that opened up in the park. I mean, over at Animal Kingdom, they had changes to their dining over there, with the Harambe Market opening up with the variety of foods. And then, let's see. You had, that opened the end of last year, was the Skipper Canteen, which I'm excited to try out since I haven't, that's the only thing I haven't done. I've been to everything else so far. And, it was a lot of new things coming to the parks and the resorts, whereas, you know, that was the big story I could think of for being bad was them shutting down Big Thunder Ranch out in Disneyland.
Yeah, I know. But I still cry about it sometimes, but I'm hoping another one is going to open in the future. It's got to. Everyone, even cast members are like, this was such a successful restaurant here in the park, and everybody loved it. It's, you know, you can't take something out that everybody's going to love. You can't, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
They should put it at one of the resorts. I would think so.
Or, they can put it at either Disney World or at Paradise Pier. That's kind of a walk from it's not a long walk from the park, but it's across the street from the park. You know, so keep it either at the hotel or at Grand Californian. I could picture it at Grand Californian.
Yeah, that would be a good place for it because it's got that rustic vibe to it.
I was telling a cast member the other day in Disney California, I mean, as much as kids love the Chippendale, you know, jamboree area where they can go and climb cargo nets and do all this stuff, close that down and turn that into Thunder Ranch. That would be an excellent idea, in my opinion.
Where at?
There's a little right by the entrance to the hotel that gets you inside to Disney California from the Grand Californian. Just to the left of that, there's a little area. It's called I forgot what it's called, something Chippendales, but it's an area to where kids can go around, climb cargo nets, kind of follow this little trail. There's little forts and everything like that. It's not busy at all whenever I walk by it. It's never that busy. So sometimes I think that's just a waste of space. They could do so much to it. And I was just telling somebody the other day, put the restaurant there, and everybody's like, that would be a good idea to do that.
Yeah, I haven't ever noticed that section because whenever I'm leaving,
nobody notices.
Or going, like, I don't go that way. I go towards the lobby of the hotel to get out into downtown Disney area.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody notices it, and that would be a good spot.
So let's see. 2016. What new is coming to Disneyland? Can you think of any new? Do you have any new restaurants opening?
No, well, they changed. Like I said, they not changed over River Bear Terrace, but they're gonna start serving barbecue in there. Rancho del Zocalo is gonna start serving the breakfast that River Bell Terrace was serving, which is gonna be kind of weird. You know, I love Rancho del Zocalo, but they're gonna serve, their all-American breakfast at Rancho del Zocalo.
They have the best carne asada there.
Yes,
I love it. I love it.
Yes, they do. Get the carne asada. That's one of the best things there. When during the season, I think it's over now, they had tamales, chicken tamales, which were excellent too. And you know what? I'll tell you about. There's another bad. I do have another bad. We dined at Flo's for breakfast Saturday. The worst, or Sunday. That was one of the worst breakfasts I've had there, unfortunately. And we had the brioche toast, and with toast, you'd think toast would be a little bit harder and stuff. This was like pudding to us. And they're like, oh, it's more of like a pudding than a toast. And I'm like, why you call it brioche toast then? Didn't you call it brioche pudding instead? So I had to get my refund on that because it was just awful. It was so mushy. It was undercooked. Yeah. So I'll try it again maybe some other time, but not that dish. They only serve breakfast for like maybe 2 hours throughout the day when the park opens. And but the other food is great. The lunch and dinner food at Flo is great. But that was probably one of the worst breakfasts I've had at the park in a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay. Say they add another dining location to the park and it's in Star Wars Land area. What would you want to see?
Well, blue milk. Definitely got to have that in the cantina. Man, that's a good question. With seeing all the concept art that they showed at D23, the cantina would most likely be the restaurant, in my opinion, not just, for drinks and stuff like that. And that's a great, everything's going to be themed out. Now, could it be a buffet? People were hoping it might be buffet style, but it's Disney. The only thing we know right now is that there's possibly going to be a boat ride in Disney and Star Wars Land. That story came out about 2 weeks ago. The possible boat ride. As it comes for restaurants, I know they're probably going to build about 2 or 3 new spots inside the land. This was from one of my friends who works private security, but they do Disney stuff also for private events. And he was telling me they're actually hoping April or May of 2017 having it up. And I'm like, that's impossible. Cars Land took 3 years to build. Yeah.
Yeah, because Disney's not quick at building.
No, they're going to take their time. They're going to take their sweet little time on it, which I thought when they announced it, this is not going to be up until 2019.
Unless they're going to make it move faster and Bob Iger wants to retire and therefore hurrying it up so that he can get out when he wants to get out.
Yeah. That's good.
But that way it's complete under his. I was gonna say under his role, but that's not the quite. His supervision. That's the word.
Supervision. I mean, they got a lot to tear down, and then they're moving a lot of the offices. There's maybe a block or two away to these brand new big buildings that they just bought, and so I honestly don't see it being up by then. But he said there's going to be 2 or 3 new eateries from what he's heard from one of his bosses. So hopefully, nice. Yeah, I'm hoping one of them that at least is a nice sit-down restaurant, themed, of course, and then just 2 quick service areas that you can enjoy yourself to. Yeah, that would make the most sense. I mean, it's the biggest expansion. It's going to be bigger than Cars Land, I believe, and Cars Land's huge. So, wow. Yeah. Biggest expansion in Disneyland history, they say. So we'll see what happens.
I still wish you guys were getting Marvel instead. Oh.
Well, we might. Rumor has it DCA might be doing something. Disney California may be doing something towards in between Bugs Land and the Tower of Terror. If you see that little spot, there's an opening right there where the red trolley goes in. And that's where they kind of like dock the red trolleys for the night. But it's a huge area. I've worked there too. And it's a huge area. They could definitely do something with that. That was the big rumor going around a couple weeks ago to turn that into a Marvel area. But for right now, they're doing great with turning Interventions into Marvel HQ and the Star Wars launch bay.
Tomorrowland should just be turned into being Marvel.
That might be the plan too. Nobody has said anything about that. It would be, but everybody said no. They're going to keep it Tomorrowland. That's what Walt would have wanted. I'm like, well, Walt would have wanted a lot of other stuff that's not going on. That's going on, or that is not going on.
Yeah.
But the stuff that is going on, that he would be like, I don't know about that. Raising the annual pass holder prices to $1,000. I don't know about that. But pricing the families out. That is always
my argument when it comes to the cost of tickets is this was Walt's plan to be something that a father can take his daughters to go do together and enjoy as a family.
Exactly.
And it's getting more and more out of the price range.
Yeah.
For families.
I keep saying, and somebody was on this message board the other day, what's the one thing you would change at Disney that they're doing? And I said, ticket prices for the kids. 3 and under, it's free. But, certain ages, you might, show proof of age, and they'll be able to get that discounted ticket. $30 for maybe somebody that's 6 and under, or $40 or $50 for somebody that's 12 and under. Because, I mean, you're going to have the teenagers, of course, charge the teenagers full price. That would probably be the smart thing.
One of the things that I think should be taken into consideration with pricing of tickets is it should be age 10 or this height requirement. So if you're, for some reason, like the height of kids who are 2-3 years younger than you, you're not paying an adult price for attractions you can't ride because you're still too short.
Yes, exactly. That's a good point.
And that's the one thing I've always had an issue with, because I was the kid who was always significantly shorter than everybody else and couldn't ride attractions because they were so far behind in growth. So, I mean, I couldn't imagine being a parent who had a tiny child that couldn't ride attractions and was paying full price for their kid who still has like 3 more brackets of heights on attractions to hit. I mean, that's a lot of money to dish out for a kid who can't ride those things.
Can't do anything. Exactly. Yeah. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to the family. I mean, they're going to spend that money anyway, whether it's on food, merchandise. So, I mean, why try to take them for everything when you know you're going to get something out of them? Don't get everything out of them. Just get something out of them. That's
well, to me, once you get people in the gate, then, I mean, that should be the easy part. And then once they're there, they're going to spend money. They're going to buy food. They're going to buy drinks.
They're going to eat. They're going to.
Mm-hmm. And I think people would sometimes spend more if they weren't thinking, this ticket cost me $90 a day. Well, if I was paying $50 a day, then there's $40 we can spend on more souvenirs. And there's a huge markup on all those souvenirs.
Just strap a Disney to it and it skyrockets. That's all.
Uh-huh.
But it's Disneyland. Prices aren't gonna scare me at all. It's just for the love of the place, and I love the food there. You can't eat the food. First thing we learned when I was a cast member there is that the food is fresh. We always get the freshest of ingredients. We never freeze our meat. I don't know how it is today, but this was back in 2000 when. Disney does have standards when it comes to food, dining, and giving you that experience. And that's what I love about them. And that's what you're going to pay for. And it's definitely every penny. 99% of the time, it's worth every penny.
I agree.
Yes.
I've had some excellent food at Disney.
Oh, yes. So have I. And great experiences, too, of dining.
Let's see. 2016. I'm trying to think. Other things I'm looking forward to is there is a lot of restaurants opening in Disney Springs. The Edison, which you might be familiar with since there's only one other one in LA. You might have.
I've heard the Edison. I've heard of it. I think I've actually had a friend that used to work there that worked at one of the restaurants I managed. I believe so. And that's in LA, not downtown LA. Is it right in the heart of downtown, or it's just?
All I know is it's located in downtown LA.
It might be.
Where in downtown, I don't know.
Kind of like near
I just
the
know the
Bonaventure,
pictures
right?
from the website of that place look really cool.
I've never been. I've been to the Bonaventure, but I've never been to that one.
They have Sprinkles, which is it's a cupcake bakery where they're in the machine. It's a cupcake ATM machine. So 24/7, you can order a cupcake out of the machine.
Wow. I don't know if I would trust that,
in the morning,
but man.
You're going, I want a cupcake. You could go to Disney Springs and get a cupcake.
Oh my goodness. They're doing everything in vending machines. So does it bake the cupcake for you, or how does that work?
I don't know.
That's weird. Like, I want to add chocolate mix with
the only thing
vanilla icing.
It would have to be, in a sense, just like a vending machine where they were already made and placed in slots. Because I don't know how a machine's going to make a cupcake for you,
Well, they can do pizza. I've actually seen a pizza vending machine online where it does bake the pizza for you.
That's crazy.
So that's maybe something that they are doing with it. That's something to see.
Well, speaking of pizza, there is a place called Blaze Fast Fired Pizza where it takes 180 seconds for the pizza to cook.
What? How's that?
It's
How is that
on.
possible?
I mean, it is like really like fired at a really high
Without burning the dough?
kept on
Wow.
a high temperature.
Heat? Temperature? That's how
Temperature
is
is what
that
I was
possible?
looking for.
The only thing I could think of is remembering Back to the Future when she brings that little Pizza Hut thing in a package and she puts it in that hydrator and she says hydrate level 4. Within like 5 seconds it's done. She brings out the whole pizza. If
I
you
don't
remember
remember
that
that. Oh, now I feel like I need
that's
to
what I'm
watch
expecting
that.
it's gonna be. That's what
But all
180
these
seconds to cook a
pizzas,
pizza.
they're all going to be
Wow.
custom made. So you tell them what you want it on it, and then they throw it in there and make it for you.
Those are starting to
40
become very
toppings.
popular. They're becoming very popular here in California. Right across the street, there's a very popular one called Pizza Press that all the pass holders love it to death, and they wish there was something like that in Disneyland, where it's basically just $10 flat out, and you choose whatever you want. They have like 30 or 40 toppings you choose from, and there's nothing like that in the park. So everybody goes over there, walks across the street to there.
Wow.
It's really good, yeah. So Disney should do something like that. Because Pizza Port, I'm not big on their pizza. I do love their pasta. Their pasta is very filling. And, if you want something
Their
that'll
salads
fill
are
you
pretty
up.
good too.
Nobody got time for that. We got time for salad. But
Speaking of that, it's so funny. So one of my friends, she is like itty bitty tiny, like a 00. Like that her
like
waist
that
is
small.
like,
This is
she's
her right
so
here.
tiny. She's so tiny. And the one day we went out to eat, and I said, I'm trying to decide between this and this salad. I've been kind of craving a salad. She goes, has nobody ever said I've crave a salad? Nobody says that. She's like, what is wrong with you? I was
Unless
like,
it has steak or
I'm
chicken
sorry.
on unless it has steak or chicken on it, no.
I always have chicken on my salads.
No, I never have.
Yeah, I like salads.
Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, we could use a pizza. The pizza place in Disney, California, or Disneyland, anywhere in the resort would be great. Just the only place we have is Pizza Port, or I believe you can go to the boardwalk over at Disney California and get like some flatbread pizzas over there. But the build your own would be nice to have in the park. Yeah. And you do have one at Disney World? You have a build your own?
There's gonna be one in Disney Springs.
In Disney Springs.
That's where they're putting that. And the only other there's 3 other restaurants still opening. There's one Art Smith. He's opening a Southern restaurant in Disney Springs, and then Rick Bayless. I'm excited about his restaurant coming there. I think it's called Frontera Fresco, I think is going to be the name of it.
Oh, Fresco Dining.
But I'm excited about that. I'm like, oh, good Mexican food. Like, I'll take it. And then STK Orlando. And I know Tony Castellanova from Disney by the Numbers and Disney Parks Podcast had sent me the menu from the New York one because he wanted to have an idea of pricing. And it's pricey. Really pricey. I told him, I said, we could do a GoFundMe account.
For our GoFund my dinner for the night, please.
Yes, go fund our meal so that we can review it and tell you how good or bad it is. And I'm thinking it's probably going to be that good.
That's just like Club 33, where it's about $75 to $100 a person over there.
Yeah, it's something like $60, $70 for a steak, and all you get is the steak. Everything is a la carte. So your sides, your veggies, all those kinds of things you have to pay to add to it.
Wow.
I think it's like $10 for a side. Tony and I are hoping they're going to be large enough that you share it.
I hope so. Oh my goodness, I would hope so. It would be big enough to share. Wow. I've never heard of a restaurant doing that, charging you're just gonna get that. If you want anything else with it, you have to charge you per side. Wow.
I've heard that, but it's rare and it's always at like the finest of fine dining.
I bet it is. It better be the finest food you can find. That cow better have been chopped up yesterday. I mean, 'cause paying something like that, wow.
Oh, I know something I forgot to mention for Best of 2015. It's Morimoto Asia in Disney, now in Disney Springs. Because that opened, the boathouse opened, all phenomenal places.
That sounds like a Mexican restaurant. I'm just kidding.
But Morimoto's, I really like the fact that the prices on their menu vary. So if you're not looking to spend $30-some an entree and you only want to spend $15, there is something on the menu for you.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Food's really good.
I do. Yeah, there's not really any Asian food at Disneyland. We were talking about this yesterday. Where can you grab sushi at Disneyland or anywhere in the resort? He said, no, you can't. Nowhere.
That's strange that there's no sushi.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Like they should put a sushi place somewhere in either in Disney, California.
The only Asian restaurant is that Lucky
Oh,
Fortune
that's right.
Cookery,
Lucky Fortune
right?
Cookery, yes. And their food's awful. I don't like their rice.
Aljon and Raphael had that the one time during
D23.
Yeah, I think it was about 2.5 years ago. Did that? I don't remember what I got, but I got something somewhere else.
I don't like the Lucky Fortune Cookery. I do. The only place I go around there in the Pacific Wharf is for the bread bowl. That's the only thing I usually get there. But they do have the Mexican food. They have the Chinese, Asian food. They have bread bowls and salads. And that's where they do have the Carl Strauss beer cart too, which is one of my favorite spots.
We know that's one of my favorite spots since I walk by there and don't get a beer.
Yeah.
Edgar, what are you doing? Now my cat is sitting on my headphones. Okay, Edgar, that's not where you can sit.
Mine are all laying down. They're all chill now.
Mine wants attention, so he's just jumped on my lap.
One of mine is in a box.
Imagine that, a cat in a box.
A cat in a box. Who knows? What do you know?
So I think that's pretty much everything I can think of for our entree today. How about you?
Yeah. So here's to a good 2016 at Disney.
And now on to dessert. My Walt Disney World tip is going to be, which also applies to Disneyland as well, but to take into consideration how long you want to spend when you choose where you're going to dine. Because table service restaurants, you're pretty much going to be there at least an hour, more like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. And signature dining is going to be even longer than that. You know, you're going to think hour and a half plus starting. And then if you're wanting to eat and kind of, really get your time in the parks, hit the attractions, I highly recommend going with a quick service location. There's plenty of good places that are now, even Disney World's getting better about having more than burgers and chicken tenders and pizza. A lot more options than there used to be. You guys have the best when it comes to that. I mean, most of your locations have very unique food and not just hamburgers and chicken tenders. Yes,
that's true, which is great. That's what I love about Disneyland. You got something different whether you're on one side of the street or the other side of the street. One different lands, different foods. You got Bengal barbecue over in at Adventureland, Pizza Port over in Tomorrowland, Rancho del Zocalo in Frontierland. I mean, you have all these different areas of food. You guys got your World Showcase also, with basically everything's different, which I love that right there. I can't wait to visit that one day. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait till you go and we get to show you all around our home park.
I know. I get to see your guys' videos when you guys are taking like shots or whatever, or showing what you're eating. I'm just like, oh God, I can't wait to be there, because they don't do none of that stuff at Disneyland. Nothing. You can't drink in Disneyland. You can only drink in Disney California, and all they serve is beer and wine.
You can only drink at Be Our Guest.
At Be Our Guest? Okay.
Mm-hmm. In Magic Kingdom, that's the only one you can drink at, and they don't have you have to have a reservation, otherwise you're never going to get in there. I mean, it's like the place to go. But their drink choices, you're not going to have Bud Light or Miller or anything like that. It's French and Belgian beers. I think there's like 4 of them on the menu, and then French wines. So it's not. You're not going to go there and plan on drinking, and leaving tipsy. I mean, it's set up that way because the drinks really do complement the food, and it's kind of a place where you kind of need that. I mean, it's French cuisine.
Yes.
So kind of along that, and that's the only exception in the whole park.
Okay.
So,
man.
So what is your dining tip?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I got a lot of them. My big thing is take advantage of your annual pass. Take advantage of the discount of the food, the merchandise. A lot of the outdoor vendors don't accept it, but basically all the counter service does, all the sit-down service does. You save so much money if you use that. If you're not a pass holder, take a friend who is a pass holder. Or whatever. They can use it. They can use their pass, because we probably saved so much money just this weekend. I mean, I believe we saved 15-20% on what we ate, and we try to make sure we hit the spots where we can get a discount off, because a lot of the outdoor vendors don't do it. And then not only that, with merchandise, there's a lot of Star Wars merchandise food that you can get. You should see I have a refrigerator right now with all my little steins. I have a BB-8 stein, a Chewbacca stein, a Boba Fett stein. I have my Han Solo popcorn bucket. That I paid for with my annual pass, and saved $2 off that bucket. And then my recent purchase, I love it to death, is my TIE Fighter popcorn bucket. Unfortunately, that's not a discount, because that's at an outdoor vendor. But always ask when you go up to a window. Ask do you accept annual passes? So if you don't know, if you're not an annual pass holder, find somebody that is, and take advantage of that discount, because you will save a lot of money in the long run.
That's one of the things I forgot to mention with the best of 2015 was the really cool diamond anniversary stuff that you guys had, like popcorn buckets and the steins and all that kind of really cool stuff.
I went berserk the 24-hour day when it came to just buying, merchandise and food. They had these big giant Disneyland 60th cupcakes that you can. I didn't want to take it home. I wanted to take it home and freeze it because it looked so nice, but it was so good. We bought a couple of them. When the 60th started, it was very, very surreal at the park, that 24-hour day. But, they still kept on top of everything when it came to food, when it came to the merchandise. Definitely the merchandise, I'll tell you that. But, it was next year, I'm hoping it's back again on the Memorial weekend for the 24-hour day. And I don't know what they're going to do this year. I don't know what you can top doing the 60th. Wait another 15 years when the 75th rolls around. But there's no way you could top the 60th. It's been such a good year at Disneyland with the new shows, with all the different experience that you can do too. So I believe it ends in September, so you guys still got time to come down to Disneyland and enjoy all the 60th stuff right now.
Which is very cool.
Yes. And the Star Wars stuff. Oh, the Star Wars stuff is amazing. Ride Hyperspace Mountain. Check out the Star Wars launch bay. You get pictures with Chewbacca, Darth Vader, and Boba Fett. And they have a high-end Star Wars store where you can actually buy an actual $4,000 Darth Vader suit or Stormtrooper suit or, lightsaber replicas that they've used in the movies. and all this other stuff. It's nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine spending $4,000 on a Darth Vader costume.
I can.
My.
I can.
Alton want to if we win the lottery, though. That $1.4 billion definitely will make that affordable.
Oh yeah, I'll make my own TIE fighter ship with that.
Well, that's our meal for today. Bubba, tell everybody where they can follow you.
They can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, big_Bubba_B. I post all my pictures there, any type of news that I hear. A lot of people like my memes that I make, so I've been memeing a lot lately, especially when Star Wars came out. I put a meme out every week of different Star Wars stuff, and I keep everybody usually updated on big news that happens at Disneyland. So you can follow me right there, big_Bubba_B.
And you have good videos too.
Yes, I do. Some insane videos too. I have one on Instagram of the Aladdin. Like the Aladdin show did end at Disney California on Sunday. We got to see it for the final time, and the line for that was amazingly long. I've never seen anything like that.
Wow. Well, as far as Dining at Disney, you can find us at diningatdisney.com and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Periscope, where all you got to do is look for Dining at Disney. On YouTube, it's the Dining at Disney. We are part of the We Be Geeks Network, so please don't forget to download and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating and review. We would really love that. And if you're looking to help us out, show us some support, you can shop our affiliate links. We've got the Disney Store, as well as Garden Grocers, Jelly Belly, and the Dining at Disney dining guides are there as well for you. So that's everything. Well, thanks so much for listening, and bon appetit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently holding for further traffic clearance.
Check out Kristen's new website, magicaljourneysvacations.com, for all your vacation needs. Disney, Universal, cruise lines, and more.
Thank you for traveling with us.
magicaljourneysvacations.com. Have her book your magical vacation today.